This is your Pain Game podcast, where we talk about the game of living in and with chronic pain and trauma, getting to the heart of how to heal. I am your host, Lyndsay Soprano. On the show, I plan on discussing with doctors, chronic pain patients, holistic practitioners, loved ones, and anybody that is interested in having their voice heard in the chronic pain and trauma world that we live in. Pain is a challenging thing, as we all know, but not all pain is the same, right? We can't generalize it. We can't understand how each person feels their pain or how they manage their pain, how they experience it, or how they even communicate about it, right? I mean, it's hard to talk about painful situations, painful things that happen to you, painful conditions. Some people can't communicate about their pain even for a moment. And in my opinion, a lot of pain feels like shame, like you might be the one to blame, and take a beat on that because it can feel shameful in some certain situations. So what I have found over my 20,000 lives is that opening up and finally talking about things that have happened to me since I was a little girl up until my most recent trauma has given me strength. Strength in not feeling so much shame anymore. Strength in not feeling like I'm the bad guy all the time, which makes no sense to me that I would even be a bad guy, but it is what it is. I have had moments where I lose my strength. I mean, we all have big time, right? And that little girl, stuck in a scared dark corner, comes and shows herself here and there. But overall, I feel stronger than I ever have, even in my moments of weakness. And man, do I have them. And even in my moments of disappointment, right? I mean, I disappoint other people. I mean, we're human. And I disappoint myself, even in my moments of where I've let myself down. And I'm just going to lead that strengthful, unbelievable lady right here to bring in my guest today. She is a little firecracker, to say the least. And I have known her since we were in high school. And we were about 15. I think we were about 15 years old when we met, 15, 16 years old. And I do have to preface this episode that the two of us are completely insane. And our topic today is incredibly interesting and a little bit stinky. Hey, Shan.
Hi.
So I just want to make sure that I want to start with the fact that we're going to talk about an uncomfortable topic. And because Shannon and I have known each other for so long, coupled with our personalities, we are not making light of a painful topic. All right. So I just want to make sure that you understand that we are bringing light to it. So we're not making light of a painful topic. We are bringing light to it and giving you guys a space to listen to the possibility of being able to communicate better with the people in your life if you are experiencing pain. And if it's similar to this, what we're going to be talking about, we want you to feel more comfortable with it. And that's one of the things that I love about Shannon, because she's just open book about what we're going to talk about. So what topic are we going to discuss? We're going to talk about anal pain. Not being an anal retentive person, because that's me. And that's painful for those people around me. But we're going to talk about anal pain. And I'm sure we now have your attention. Our approach to pain is similar, both Shannon and I, although they're different. But first, I'd like to have Shannon talk to you about what you do for a living to kind of give our audience, give you some cred for what you do for a living. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm Shannon. I am an ultrasound technologist, not technician. People often say technician, and that bugs me because it's technologist. But I've been an ultrasound tech for 12 years at hospitals, outpatient centers, OBGYNs, perinatologists. And I absolutely love my job.
And one of the things with your job, you learned so much about the anatomy, right?
Correct.
And what is their main focus actually in what you do for, if you could hone in on something, or is it pretty sporadic? Is it broad?
Oh, it's very broad.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of it?
Of ultrasound?
Yeah.
My favorite part, I think, is just seeing all kinds of different people, ages, all over the spectrum, nationalities, getting to know people one-on-one, listening to their stories and helping them. I love helping people. I love trying to figure out why they're in pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the number one, people think of ultrasound as, oh, you look at babies all day. That must be so fun. And it's like, no, I look at balls and I scan dirty, homeless balls. And I look at perineums and I look at vaginas. And I mean, it's everything. And just because I work in a nice, affluent area does not mean that I get all these high-end, nice, smell good people. No.
Smell good Gucci, Gucci Prada people coming in with their beautiful Brazilians.
I mean, we get the druggies and the low lifes and, all over. But I really like helping people. And a lot of the times while people are in pain and I'm scanning their livers or looking at their ovaries and whatnot, I end up walking out of the room going, wow, that was a therapy session, not just for me, but for them. And I don't know. I feel like I connect with people of all over the spectrum. I mean, older people that are in their 90s that are on their last days and people that are in rehab. And I mean, I see it all. And I think that's why I love my job so much.
Wow. I love that. I mean, cause you're right. I mean, I've had so many damn ultrasounds all over my body cause I'm a hot mess, but as everybody knows, but my body's a hot mess. But the first thing people think about is just like what you said, like, oh, you're just in there, you're looking at babies and you're telling them what the sex is. It's like,
which
no.
I love.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. And you're a grandma too. So you've got baby stuff all over the place. I know. I love it so much. So I just wanted to make sure that we talked about that because it really goes into, I mean, I know with myself, I have researched like the crap out of everything on the planet.
Oh yeah.
And like I've mentioned in previous episodes, like, go to WebMD and like the next minute you've got like 17 different types of cancer.
Oh yeah.
And so you research as well. And when we're going to just drop what we're talking about here in a sec, but you had to research your ass off, no pun intended, literally, to find out what the hell was going on with your butt, with your booty, right?
Yeah, my butthole.
Your butthole. Oh my God. Literally, guys, I will like randomly text Shannon and be like, how's your little butthole today?
Yeah, it's not every day you get a text saying, how's your little butthole feeling today? First text of the morning. I'm like, okay.
Lindsay's not sleeping again.
Well, let me tell you.
So you have something called proctalgia fugax. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe it is proctalgia fugax.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like a really crazy drug.
It's a really ugly name. I mean, I wish it could have been like a cuter name.
I know, especially because your butthole's probably so cute.
Well, that's what I hear.
So, oh my gosh. So I told you guys, I warned you. So it's pain and cramping like around your butt and your rectum, correct?
Yes, which I had no idea that's what it was when it first started happening.
Yeah. So when did that start happening for you?
Actually, about 5 years ago. I'm just now figuring this out.
So the length of time that intense. It takes to get any kind of diagnosis for things, right, guys? I mean, any kind of pain.
Sadly.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here because, hey, if somebody has this and it just started a month ago,
exactly,
this is why we're here. So the pain is basically like a result of spasms and cramps, kind of like Charlie horses, right?
Yes, that's how the GI doctor I went to initially described it. He said it's kind of like having a Charlie horse or cramping in your calf, which most people have felt that, I think.
Yeah.
But he's like, you just happen to get it in your anus or your rectum. Right. I'm like, oh, lucky me.
Lucky you. Well, and I understand Charlie horses like nobody's business because I get them from my waist down in my legs for like 4 to 6 hours at a time. I'm on a medication that I take now that helps with that. But I mean, it only works, when I'm having my severe ones, it's like, there's only so much you can do. It's like mind over matter.
Right.
It's so sucky.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it took it started about 5 years ago. You've been going to doctors. Where did you go? What kind of doctors did you see? And what were the non-results that you got?
Well, at first I didn't say anything, honestly, for like the first year or two. I just kind of because it was very sporadic, which is typically how it happens. And so I kind of just ignored it. Thought, oh, maybe it's just constipation or maybe this or that.
Yeah. Period, pain, menstrual, whatever. Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I know I'm still youngish for a colonoscopy, but I'm going to reach out to, start with my PCP, primary care physician. and just see what he has to say. Maybe he can refer me to a GI, get a colonoscopy just to make sure everything's normal in there.
Right.
And so needless to say, I go to my PCP and he's like, I'm just going to feel around there, and, sticks his finger in my ass and like, oh yeah, everything's normal, but you can, I guess, go have a colonoscopy even though you're young. I'm so sick of that. Sorry, side note.
Yeah.
I am so sick of doctors saying, you're too young, or you're too this, or no, it can't be. Anyways, that's a whole nother
thing. And you've experienced that
like,
even with your granddaughter who was born basically with cancer. Like, hello. Yeah.
4
not
months
too
old.
young. Yeah. 4 months old. So anyways, I don't want to digress on that. But
right. That's a whole nother.
Yeah,
probably
for sure. Yeah.
Day.
You're too young to have breast cancer. No, you're not.
Oh yeah.
No, you're
and
not.
I hear it daily at my job daily. It's sickening. So anyways, go have a colonoscopy. And of course, and I felt the colonoscopy. I don't think I told you this, Lyndsay, but
no, you did not.
I told them, and now I'm kicking myself for telling them, but I get really sick after anesthesia. I usually vomit and feel nauseous. And instead of giving me Zofran or something to help with that, they said, we'll just lessen the dose. We won't give you as much. You must just be, really sensitive to it or whatever. And I remember saying during the colonoscopy, is this almost over? Is this almost over? I remember feeling part of it. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's not typical. People out there, go get your colonoscopy because it is very important. It's not usually, you don't feel anything. Well, I'm not saying don't go get it, but
anyways, just make sure that you're out cold.
Just make sure you get the normal dosing. Don't
take the anti-nausea and move forward with the whole situation. Yeah, because I've had one, and it was just because I had GI stuff, and little did we know it was what my CRPS was causing. But man, I was out.
Yeah. No, I was semi out. Anyways, that came back normal. And then, everything's normal, go on your way kind of thing, and no follow-up, nothing. And then these cramping pains kept happening over and over. And there was no correlation. Like I thought, okay, maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe it's something I'm eating. Maybe it's too much sugar. Oh, I think it's this. I think it's that. And it just, I couldn't pinpoint anything. Nothing made sense. And so as time went on and it actually started getting worse and worse, I called back the GI doctor and he's like, oh, well, you could start taking this stuff. It's an antispasmodic, which why didn't you tell me that from the beginning, that there's actually something out there that like helps? So thankfully, as soon as I feel the pain coming on really strong, I could take this pill or whatever. It's just an antispasmodic. It's
what is it?
Crazy. It's dicyclamine.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's another name for it. I forget. Anyways,
that's okay.
Whatever. All I know is it's a little blue pill.
Yes, it is. Well, there are a couple blue pills that are very helpful for people's lives.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Oh, wow. Yes, we do. Wow. Sorry, sweeties. Threw them under the bus real quick, didn't we?
But we love it.
We do. We very much do.
Anything blue but the balls.
Oh my God. Wow. I told you guys. I told you. But this is why we're trying to make light of it, right?
No, you have to have fun in life.
Yeah, we do. I mean, and the two of us have always been just such crazy, crazy ladies together. I mean, oh my gosh. But so throughout all of this, you started taking this anti-spasm medication. And then what happened after that?
So I think it was probably about 3 months ago. I was waking up at night almost every night in the middle, like from sleep and going, oh my gosh, it's coming. And it's kind of a scary feeling because you know it's coming. And the pain is so bad to the point where, and I'd feel bad because my husband's trying to sleep and I don't want to wake him up, but then he's, are you okay? And it's so sweet, but I'm on the floor, just like writhing in pain. And to the point where I just want to bang my head on the wall and just die because it's just thinking about it makes me sick. It's such an intense, crazy pain up my rectum. It's horrible. And the pain wraps around your back to your pelvic area. Sometimes the pill kicks in, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of a scary feeling. No, it's coming on. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be in pain.
Right. And then of course, what do? You tighten your sphincter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's time. I mean, my husband will be like, well, maybe it'll help if I stick my finger up your ass. I mean, maybe if I like put it up there and put pressure and then,
oh my gosh,
we've tried everything. Like sometimes the pressure up there, I don't know. So anyways,
does it help?
Not really. Well, I'll get into that after I tell you about the therapy thing. Because it's kind of ties into that. But a couple times actually, so weird. Sometimes having sex helps.
Sure.
just like, okay, get something in the other hole there. It's all the
well, I mean, sex is legitimately supposed to relax you.
It should.
Yeah. So I mean, that makes sense.
So anyways, that
Jeez,
helps.
you're so funny.
Helps sometimes.
We knew this was going to be a little wiggly today.
I'm a wiggle worm.
You are.
So because it was happening more often, I actually had my yearly appointment to see my gynecologist for my pap smear. Get your pap smears, women, get out there. And so when I went, I mentioned it to her, and she's so funny. She's great. She goes, well, you know what? Let me do a little test. She's like, all the pelvic muscles down there are all the same. I've had kids, and, as we know, the same muscles you push a kid out with, you're pushing your poop out with too.
Right.
So all those muscles work together. So she does her, gives me my little pap smear swabby thing. And then they stick their finger up you and feel around, make sure everything feels normal, no masses, blah, blah, blah. So she goes, I'm going to do a couple other tests and I'm going to kind of move my fingers around in there. I'm like, okay, you just don't care. You just want to figure out what's going on. Like, I don't care. Do what you have to do, because if you find something, great.
Right.
And so she starts like moving and kind of angling her fingers back. I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, that hurts. She goes, yeah, your pelvic muscles are really tight here, blah, 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 and kind of explains the whole thing. And she goes, you need pelvic floor therapy. Mind you, this is 5 years later. Finally, and I go, oh, I've heard of that. I had just heard of it. I think my daughter had told me about it or something. I've kind of read about it, but I don't really hear of it very often. And so she goes, it's right down the hallway here. And she goes, you should do pelvic floor therapy. And so I started kind of reading into it. And of course, I made my appointment the next day.
Right.
And so I started pelvic floor therapy.
Isn't it like Kegels on steroids?
Kind of. I guess you can say that.
I literally have been sitting here doing Kegels while you've been talking, just so you know. And that's not ew.
Kidding.
It's not ew. And a lot of the reason why is because we've been talking about this, and I've been researching to do this episode to talk about this and how to actually approach it where we could be lighthearted, but also talk about it like it is seriously painful. But yeah, I mean, do your Kegels too, ladies and gentlemen.
And be aware and what I've learned, because I have now had 3 sessions of this pelvic floor therapy, and I didn't realize, I mean, we all hold our stress differently, but I really think it comes down to, holding my stress. Sometimes I grind my teeth, or, people hold their stress in their shoulders or back or whatever it may be, or people get headaches, different, your body stress comes out in different ways. But one thing my therapist said was, be aware of how you're sitting or you're driving and like how relaxed you are. And a lot of the times I'm sitting and I'm like clenching my legs, or I'm clenching, just different parts of my body, or just holding my tummy in. Which is a whole nother thing. I didn't realize for years and years. And this just came up the other day, actually. I didn't realize I sucked my stomach in because I don't want it to look poochy, my little baby belly. I want it to look flat. So I'm sucking it in. She goes, you need to relax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Just relax.
Not everybody relax.
But yeah, easier said than done. But
you were over the other night and we were drinking some wine and what have you. And you were like, look at my cute little pooch. And you were like squeezing your little tummy. And I love that about you, because knowing you for as long as I have, for better part of my life, basically, you've struggled with issues in regards to your body. And I never got it because you've always been beautiful to me.
Oh,
so you're welcome. So it was so weird for me to even hear you talk about the insecurities that you had with your bod. And I mean, same with me. Like, I would have never guessed that I would have been as insecure as I actually am. And even just doing this show and prepping for this over the past couple of years to get me to where I am, I learned how much insecurity I have, and how that adds to stress and how that adds to pain. And that completely supports what you're talking about,
Yep.
Yeah. Like covering up our pain, right? I mean, our personalities, you and I both, we're just like, what? All the time.
Just go.
Yeah. How could they possibly go through anything bad? Guess what? We probably have been through way worse than all you. And I'm sorry, I don't mean all you. But yeah. So, okay. So you started pelvic floor therapy, and how often do you need to do it?
I think it depends, because obviously it's not just for butthole issues.
This is our little clinician here in the room.
I just like, I just like to keep it plain and simple.
I know. God.
it's fun.
I'm shaking my head over here, guys, just so you know.
Well, you do call me your little butthole. I'm just kidding.
I do, but I don't say it to like 1,000 million people.
It's okay. We all
just
have
to
one.
you and your hubby.
We all have one. They started me out, let's see, once a month.
Once a month?
Believe.
Okay.
No.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, you need to be accurate on this information. Okay, so they started you.
Well, for me.
For you. That's all I'm asking about.
Yeah, it started out once a week, and then it's going to go down, obviously, like once every other week, and then once a month.
Sure. That's
what it was. But I think my point was, it's not just before we got on this butthole train. It's, for anything, for women who have prolapsed uterus or prolapsed bladder or incontinence, or, anything down there that you need therapy for.
Well, and it helps for your sex life too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a whole sex therapy thing, which I didn't, all these things I'm learning about pelvic floor therapy helps for is amazing. Amazing. Like, let's get this out there. Yeah.
Like, and as we're aging, like I don't have children. So I haven't had the experience of giving birth, but my body acts like I have, and like I sneeze and I pee, I laugh and I pee. Yeah. I mean, we did it today already before the show. Yeah. Both of us were like,
he's dripping down my leg.
Like, seriously. I literally carry an extra pair of panties in my purse. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so that's when you started talking to me about this, it made me think about it for myself, just for those own reasons, because I mean, I'm a sexual being, obviously. And I don't want to lose, my love and feeling.
Oh my gosh. I'm not quite ready to wear diapers yet, but
no,
if I have to, I have to.
Oh my gosh.
Because I like to laugh.
Wow. Okay. So with the pelvic floor therapy, so you're finding relief from that in such a short span of time. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think part of it is, mental, which everything starts with the brain.
Right. Well, that's the Pain Game podcast, right? It is a game that we play with pain.
Yeah.
And our brain just is so incredibly powerful. So even if we think something is going to be better, that's why we do affirmations, like
absolutely.
Today is beautiful. You are wonderful.
You make it how you make it.
That's right. So if you wake up every morning and you're like, my butt hurts, then guess what? You're going to get butt hurt all day. I
totally believe in the power of, you can make yourself sick. You can,
Yep, for sure.
And again, that's a whole other topic, but brain is so strong. But the therapy for me, so the first time I go in, and I kind of knew what to expect just because I had talked to some people and I did a little research. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I had no idea someone was going to stick their finger in my ass and move it around for like 20 minutes, but
20 minutes?
Yeah, straight.
Wow.
Literally. So lay on your side. And thankfully, this place is awesome that I go to. It's beautiful. It's calming. They've done everything right. And they're very professional. This is what they do. And so I completely trusted and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And so that was the whole mental thing of just do what they say. They know what they're doing.
Relax.
Yeah. I want this to work. So if you want something bad enough, you're going to do it. So basically I lay on my side and she just feels those muscles around this anal sphincter and all that. And she has me, relax and breathe and just do different things, tighten, release. And
it's just like going to the 24-hour fitness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, kind of. But you know what? Even though I'm working towards this in therapy and doing the exercises at home that they, tell you to do, it's actually helping with anxiety and other things because I'm having to take these deep breaths and relax. And I'm doing this at night before bed and, throughout the day. And so not only is it helping relax those muscles down there and whatnot, but it's relaxing me and helping me in other ways. So anyways, by my third appointment, she's like, you are already making progress. Cause she could, that's what they do. They know how to feel for the tight and what's working right and what's not working right. And so I'm doing something right.
Well, that's incredible. Well, and I know that you basically diagnosed yourself, which is unfortunately what we have to do in the pain community because we rely on, here, just take this and, I'll see you in 3 months. Like, come on, like, give me a little bit of credit for knowing my own damn body. Yeah. Like, I know what's going on. I'm not making this up. I'm not a hypochondriac. Like, my feet feel like I am walking on gravel and Legos and hot coals and frozen ice. And I feel like I have little hot worms running through every vein in my body all day long now. And it was used to just be at night. And now for the past couple of weeks, it's starting to increase. I'm not making it up. Why would I make this up? I'm not after pills, right? In fact, I don't want them. So it drives me insane. And I don't know how we shift this. I don't know how and I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. I believe, especially here in the United States, that the industry wants us sick. And I believe that there are people that are in the health industry that don't want us sick. But generally speaking, I've mentioned on a prior episode about like just my insurance company that they wouldn't pay for, and I have like the primo insurance on the planet and they still won't cover acupuncture. They won't cover chiropractic. Oh, yeah. They won't cover biofeedback, but they will help pay for transition surgeries. And that for me, hey, I'm all good, right? We've talked about it on a previous episode about my girlfriend, Abby, who's has been transitioning, has been going through the same thing. And I'm all for that, but I don't understand where there's a disconnect. Like, sure, support them, give them money to help with I'm asking for acupuncture because without it, I'm going to end up in a wheelchair full time right now. Yeah.
It's that's all sucky. Backwards. The whole system's backwards.
It totally is.
And I feel like doctors, most, not all, right, but a lot of them don't actually listen.
No,
they're just in and out and they don't really, it's hard to find those doctors that really listen to intently understand and try to figure things out. And, it's really sad because I hear what you're saying. I hear on a daily from so many people and it breaks my heart.
It does.
Because I watch people in pain all the time and they're just coming back. And it's just like they're putting a little Band-Aid over.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh man. So we've covered the pelvic floor therapy. How has this affected your sex life with your sweetie?
It hasn't.
I love that because I love him as well. I call him Mr. Nip, and that's a whole other story for a different show. But he really is amazing. And I'm so grateful that he came into your life for a billion different reasons.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Are you comfortable talking about your sex life?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have, are you guys, does that get in the way of any of like does it cause you pain when you're having sex?
So, it's interesting that you say that because no, it's not. And I know some people may have, it could, because I have read articles of people saying that it's painful, because obviously around those muscles.
Right. And a lot of that also can come from anxiety about doing it, that maybe it's going to happen. And so you clench up.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Okay. So it could be for me, thank God, no, because I enjoy it so much. It doesn't, but there are occasions that after sex, it starts to kind of creep in maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes later. I'm like, ooh, something, it's the pain's coming on. And it doesn't happen every time, just every once in a while. So I don't know if it happens to be where it's hitting or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and are you still taking that medication as well as needed, or is it a daily?
I do. Oh, it's another thing. Since the therapy, there's been a couple instances where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try not to take, not that it doesn't do any, I can still work. It's an antispasmodic, so it's not some opioid or anything.
Right.
So
yeah.
Which is great. But also I want to try to, fix it naturally and not have to take anything. But there have been a couple times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my breathing and try to relax and try to take my mind off it and try different tactics. And there's been a couple times where it's worked, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even have to take my medication. I guess according to the therapist, she goes, that's major progress. So yay, that made me happy. But there are times where I could tell where you just know your body and you're like, I need to take it now or it's going to get really bad. Cause it could be light pain to extreme pain. I just don't know.
Well, and I completely identify with that. Just from the Charlie horse perspective, because of my stupid legs. Mm-hmm. No. My beautiful legs. Yeah, my beautiful legs. Say. I know. And I've named them Thelma and Louise. My lefty is Thelma and my right is Louise, right? And I'm like, come on, Thelma. An acupuncturist of mine years ago, when I was actually living in Austin, Texas, it was really when my pain really started to just like be uncontrollable. And she was like, you have to give them a name. And I'll never forget her for that. And I love it because I'm like, I'll look over at my sweetie and I'm like, Thelma is being a real bitch right now. and you can see my feet start to cramp up and look like a claw, but I know now, just like what you're saying, where I'm like, oh, I can feel something is going to come on. If I don't take my Flexeril right now, I'm going to be stuck in far more pain. But I try so hard to breathe through it. And he's like, are you sure? Let me just go get it. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just wait like 15 minutes. Let's see if I can get through it. And lately it's gotten better and easier for me to like mind over matter. But I think the power of our brain and the power of what we can do with meditation, with breathing, with mind over matter, so that we're not as reliant on pills, but knowing that they are there as a safety net, not as something that you just take it, whether you need it or not. Right. I mean, our livers are just all screwed up.
Right. But I also want to say too, don't feel like a failure. Like if you have to take it, you need to take it. Like, don't feel bad about yourself or, because for a long time, another thing like anxiety medication or depression meds or whatever, if you need it, absolutely take it and don't feel like you failed or you can't, or no, get up there, truck along.
Oh my gosh. That's an inside joke. Thank you.
Keep on trucking. And then, be excited and celebrate those little times that, oh my gosh, I didn't have to take my little blue pill today because I got through it. That's so funny. Just celebrate yourself. And, there's just ways you can just be positive and, you're not every day is going to be perfect, but that's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I'm talking to myself right now.
And I'm talking to myself too. Well, and that circles back to what I started the episode with about shame, right? Yeah. Like, don't feel bad about talking to somebody about it. I'm available if anybody wants to talk to me always. And Shannon also. So Absolutely. You can DM me on Instagram and I will connect you with Shannon if you have any questions or if you are experiencing something similar and you're, we're in Southern California, so we might not be able to give you like the best advice as far as doctors are concerned, but we would be able to help, direct you and even just talk about it. If you just want to like shoot the shit and be like, this is what's happening. And I just need somebody that understands.
Right.
It's so important. I mean, without talking, that's why podcasts have become so incredibly powerful in our world, because we used to only have like AM talk radio, right? Which I'm a lover of. Specifically one station.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Bringing it up. I'm not giving them a plug, please. He's almost retiring. Moving on. But now we've gone from so much music, which Shannon and I both, that's one of the things that we met each other through music. And, us both being musicians. And now there's so much talk out there. I feel really proud of us as a culture that we are starting to talk the way that we are. And you can pick and choose the interests that you have and the things that bother you, the things that you love, whether you're into true crime or you want to listen to health or you're blah, blah, blah. It is such a powerful thing. So please, please, please talk about what's going on in your body. I mean, absolutely. And your brain is included in that part of your body. But see, your heart and your brain, those are kind of two biggies. Just saying. So you're doing pretty well in this department. And I'm so excited for you because I've heard you talk about this for 5 years. And as much as I love to talk about your little butthole, I'm happy that maybe we can talk about it a little less. Yeah. Do you have any last closing thoughts or anything in regards to it? I know that you've got a couple links that you sent me and I'll put those in the show notes so that you can, when you listen, if you go to the website to this episode, you'll be able to look at some of the links that we've provided. That's the research that she's done as well as myself. But is there anything else that you have?
Just don't be embarrassed about talking to somebody or going to your doctor and saying, this is what I'm feeling, even though it seems odd or weird. Or go with your gut and don't stop at just one doctor or one piece of advice. Just don't what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but I think that I'm going to help you with
menopause
that.
brain.
Menopause brain. I know, me too, by the way. It's so gross. I just want to...
Don't just accept and just go, okay, and give
Absolutely.
up.
Ask questions. Be your own advocate. And I continue to say that. Be your own advocate because nobody else knows your body better than you.
Right. And don't be embarrassed.
And don't necessarily go back to the same doctor. Hello. What's wrong with you? Move on. If it's an insurance issue, figure out a way to get around it. There is always a way if you want to take control of your bod. And again, I'm a bleeding heart liberal, but my body, my choice. It is your choice. So make those choices to choose the right people in your life that don't cause you stress and anxiety. and, sadness. That's a big win for your little buttholes out there. And also, be your own advocate. Go out there, find somebody, figure it out, do your own research. I mean, we just have to in our society. We have to, and there's a lot of noise and a lot of it is false information. So make sure that you're being smart. Yes, you're being smart about it. And don't just randomly like, oh, I think I'm going to try this weird holistic, supplement or whatever. And I am part of that crowd. I have tried more damn supplements than I can't even believe it. It's stupid. I mean, it's like, well, I read about this and I read about that. Well, okay. Now, did you read about the 33 other things that it causes? And that's not just in the supplement industry. It's also obviously big pharma. But anyways, okay. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today, my sweetie.
Anytime.
You are exclusively invited to share this VIP pain journey together. Let's get to the heart of how to heal with you by my side. Please follow the Pain Game podcast wherever you digest your podcast content. We will be there. Visit us at thepaingamepodcast.com and follow us on all the socials. Thanks for listening, my little VIPs. Catch you on the other side.